We ready? Who ready? We ready? Who ready? We ready? Who ready? We ready? Motivation to youth only. Mentally feel like Kobe. I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me. I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili. From young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's a reach. We ready? Who ready?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the One-on-One Sports Show here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. I am Mr. Bennett, joined by my partners, as always, Shawnee from the originally from Houston, but now in the DFW area, and then we got the coach of those 5th and 6th grade girls. Certainly getting back in the game here. They got the coach, our guy Dante, is going to be joining us in a couple minutes. And certainly good to have you guys with us on another edition of the show. Make sure when you come in tonight, hit the like button. Certainly helps the algorithm as you come into the show. Really appreciate it. Also consider dropping a Cash App or Super Chat, certainly to the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Certainly we appreciate that. You see here scrolling at the bottom of the screen, the Cash App for Black Man Unfiltered. But again, you can also drop a Super Chat. And anything that you want to give us personally, you can certainly go here. And certainly you see our individual Cash App scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We appreciate your support, certainly throughout the, we've been doing this for a couple of years now, right, guys? I mean, it's been a minute. So, but it's been, it's been a good ride. I have fun every time I come here. It's a break from the everyday and whatnot. And but more importantly, I certainly enjoy sharing the stage, certainly with you guys. So just take some personal inventory. First of all, Shawnee, how you doing?
Everything good over here. Good over here. Just came from the gym, so that's why I was running home late. So I was like,
that's right. That's right. What'd you do today?
Chest and back.
Okay. It was leg day for me this morning. So, Coach, how about you, sir? What you up to, man?
How you doing, man? I don't know, man. Happy New Year's. I think we did last year was New Year, but hey, I'm still in New Year's. I don't know. I got up late today, about 2:33. Got team pictures tomorrow, though.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, we're gonna take our little team pictures, turn in the uniforms tomorrow, so it's gonna be interesting. Hopefully everybody show up, but yeah, man, I'm good, man. I'm excited, man. It's been a great football week, man, a great sports week in general, man. Salute to the good health, man.
For sure. We're gonna get into it, no doubt. But one thing I want to go over, guys, before we get headline into the show, I want to get your personal opinion. Now, BMU, he is known for using AI to generate our images, and obviously I'm on a lot of different shows throughout the network. First of all, kudos. I mean, I think this AI stuff is kind of scary to me, quite frankly, but it is kind of dope, and I certainly appreciate the arms. But am I the only one who's like, when I look at me in these AI pictures, it don't look like me? Like you guys, I can say, okay, everybody looks like that's Coach, that's Shawnee, that's Dante. But when I look at me, I'm like, that's not my face. So it's like, is that really what I look like? So I don't know. You guys get that same kind of effect. But like I said, the arms are dope. I love the pythons. So, you can beef those up a little bit more if you want to. But how do you guys like your AI interpretation of yourselves when it comes to these new tools that they're using to create all these AI images? So, Shawnee, how about you? You liking how you look? You look very happy though.
Only thing that looks like me is the shirt I have on, because I have that shirt.
So yeah, the same thing.
Yeah, the face.
See, now when I look at him, I say, yeah, that's Shawnee. I'm looking at him, right? But it's like when I look at me, I'm like, that's another dude, man.
No, that's another dude. That's not even a doppelganger. That's a completely that's a stranger.
Yeah.
So I recognize the shirt, but I don't recognize that person.
I heard that. Coach, how about you? You liking your?
Me, man. I was surprised. I'm like, I said
that's your look when you were coaching the girls all year, right?
I said my hands are a lot
doing
bigger.
this in the game.
He got BMU, man. You gotta make my hands bigger, man. I ain't got no baby hands. I can palm basketball with either hand. I'm just saying. No, but I thought it was interesting. I said, man, the AI is. I ain't gonna lie. When I saw you, I said, man, that looked like Shotty too. I thought it favor you, but AI make you look a little. Some people look a little swollen. Some people look a little slimmer. I don't think the head long enough for you, Mr. Biddy, than your AI. I got a little, your head ain't long enough. You got that big. Yeah, it's a cool look, like you're a rock star.
See them?
Yeah, your arms. I can see that's you.
So you don't want to put me in. I'll put you in a sleeper hole, man. That's what
I can see though. See your forearm though.
There you go. That's right. So I've been putting it in. But shout out to Black Man. Certainly always doing things. He's done AI banners for all the shows here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. So again, certainly we ask you guys certainly to join in.
I guess I got my hat on. I guess so.
He's saying it's our egos as well.
I guess so.
Dante look like Suge Knight, don't he?
Dante
like Suge Knight, ready to fight.
For real, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out who he's cheering on. Either the Cowboys or his Lakers. I don't know who he's cheering at, but he cheering on for somebody.
I know. Like the Cowboys, they can use Dante on their team right now. You got a guy like that. He's going to intimidate. That's old lineman. He's like, who was your guy? Rest in peace. The brother who died a couple years ago, benching 700 pounds for Dallas. Who was that?
Oh, Larry Allen.
Yeah. My man's looking fierce there, man. So I don't know. Maybe I know he played ball back in the day. Maybe that's how we used to look back in the day. So, but shout out to BMU for having us look our best, certainly for these shows and whatnot. So we appreciate the work that he puts in to always improve the channel. And to make sure that we have what we need in order to present to you guys, certainly everything in the world of. He's saying himself almost wrecked it. That's gonna be Dante's nickname from now on. That's gonna be him from now on.
He gave me some baby shoulders, though.
My man made chest and back tonight. So you gotta make sure that my man's looking represented. But let's get into this, guys. So obviously, football is going to take over a lot of what's going on, and certainly we see the matchups, so the current playoff brackets. With congrats to Denver, and to me, both of these teams so surprising to me. I didn't see this coming in at the beginning of the season. Denver and Seattle securing the number 1 seeds and the first round bye in the playoffs. But we see certainly on Sunday the playoff action get started. But certainly there's going to be a few games that's going to be going on. I don't know if I have all of them represented here, but certainly we'll talk about and highlight some of the key matchups that's going to be coming up. But guys, from your observation this past weekend, what was your biggest takeaway, just from a high level of this week? And then we'll get into some individual topics. Shawnee, we'll start with you.
Well, if we talk about the games this past weekend, a lot of them was just one step away from being preseason games. Many teams rest their starters. You had a couple of them. You had the Saints-Falcons game was interesting because depending on which team won the game dictated whether it was the Panthers or Tampa Bay going to the playoffs.
Right.
So that was an interesting game Sunday afternoon. Of course, Sunday night, that was a winner-takes-all game, so that was definitely a game that was one of the only ones that had something on the line. No, 49ers in Seattle. I forgot, was that a Thursday game or was that a...
That might have been a Saturday. That might have been like a Saturday game. I know it was one of the.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because they had some Saturday games, so that was a big game, but it was just dominant. Seattle took that one. That's how they won their division. But for the most part, majority of the games, I know Houston was waiting on see if Jacksonville was going to lose, but they was playing the Titans, and then Cam Ward went out after he scored the first touchdown of the game, and that game was a wrap. And then, Houston ultimately ended up beating the Colts, but they finished out with the 5th seed instead of having a chance to win the division. So, for the most part, it was a good ender that Sunday night between the Ravens and the Steelers, but for the most part, the rest of the week was just teams just resting their starters. So
Yeah.
wasn't really that much on the line, that much action packed. It was just teams that was made the playoffs. They was looking like they was resting their players for the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Coach, what were your initial thoughts?
Man, just this whole season's been on point. This is the type of football y'all want to see. It went down. I mean, even the teams that knew they wasn't going nowhere, yeah, that's gonna happen. You're supposed to rest your quarterback. I believe in that all day. He ain't doing nothing. Don't get him hurt. But the teams that wanted positioning, the teams that were in it, I think it was a great weekend. I think this weekend is gonna be even better. But yeah, man, salute to the NFL, man. Do it every year. Sort of make teams play each other. All the winning teams next year, make them play their first 8 games. Everybody in the playoffs, y'all just play next year. And just mix it up. But, salute. About time, man. You ain't seen a season like this in a while where it comes doan. The games were exciting. Teams that didn't win last year are winning. Teams that had success. It's a opportunity for a new Super Bowl champion. So a great opportunity for a lot of teams. So I'm excited for the games tomorrow.
Mr. Bennett, go back to that slide.
Yeah, I had to reload it because I forgot to put the Saturday schedule.
Well, I was looking at that bracket because, the NFL and the streaming deals they have all over the place. And I was looking at ESPN right before we start the show. People going to have to pay attention to what. It's not just Fox and CBS anymore. I'm looking at the schedules, man. It's all over the place, man. Fox. Yes. I mean, it was like that during the season, but now because of the playoffs, it's just everywhere. I mean, one game you switch it on CBS, next game you got to go to Prime, the next got a Peacock, then back over to Fox. I'm like,
you got to spend $200 a month to watch the games.
Yeah, but that's a totally different discussion in terms of.
Okay. So I see it. You have they have
cord cutting. Everybody thought that was a great deal. Now it's like by the time you add up all your streaming services, I may want to go back to cable.
Man, Paramount. Man, I ain't got no Paramount. I don't know if I. Oh,
well, for Paramount, that's
CBS. Yeah, I was going to say I couldn't see it with that. Okay.
Yeah, so you got the Prime and Saturday games. You certainly got the certainly. True NFC North Bears in Chicago. Although I think just off the rip, I didn't want to talk too much about this game. But I think Green Bay's been limping into the playoffs. I don't know how healthy Jordan Love's going to be, and again, LA versus certainly the Panthers. Certainly they look pretty inept on their last game. So I mean, they got into the playoffs even though they lost convincingly to the Bucks. But he still got the bid because again Atlanta won. But again, LA and they're looking to get back on their winning ways. They've lost like two games in a row, so they're looking to get back on their winning ways and whatnot. I think they're going to be very motivated to put it on them. So quite frankly, I don't know if these
Devontae Adams are coming back too.
So I don't know if these games are going to be really worth watching. I think the more exciting games are going to be certainly the Sunday night matchups. And then obviously you got the game on Monday night, which is
that's
I've heard it different with the crowd. I'm sorry.
Well, now that Sunday night for I guess the audio geeks out there who may be watching us, it's because if y'all familiar with like Dolby Atmos sound, Peacock is they the first ones that's going to allow you to watch a game and listen to the game with that feature. So it'll make you feel like you're in the stadium. I think they're the only, no other streaming, YouTube TV, nobody else has that. Because you normally don't do it for sports games.
So you have to have an Atmos system, right? Like so if you have like a Dolby sound or surround or whatever, it's not going to work. You're not going to get the full benefit of it.
I got one in the living room. I'm saying it's.
Oh really?
Yeah. When you hear it, so far I've heard it for basketball games. I haven't paid attention to football one yet, so I'm gonna listen in. It do sound like you
courtside.
Yeah, you in there. So
yeah.
Brother Ben,
how many speakers is it? I'm just curious. Just tech. I'm a tech geek like that. So how many?
It's the Sonos thing. So it's the sound bar and the two I got the soundbar and then the two speakers behind me.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, those test
some of those more expensive than Bose.
I was able to get it because recently, 'cause, the job I work at, they basically a retail company, and
Oh, okay.
for our
Yeah.
service award, they give us we have sales, and then they give us a gift card with a percentage on top. So all of that let me save a significant amount of money. That was the only reason I was able to afford it. Other than that,
There you go.
yeah.
There you go. Shout
Brother
out
Benny,
to
real quick.
Courtney.
sorry.
I'm just Courtney Miller. We're going to talk about that game. That's going to be one of our key games that we talk about. So again, just stay tuned, and we'll certainly get back to it. All right, go ahead, Coach.
Nah, real quick, with the Rams and the Carolina Panthers, I'm going with Carolina on that. I don't know why.
Oh wow.
Rams coming because a lot of the teams, Rams coming east, weather, a lot of conditions can play into it. So, and Carolina's at home. I think by 3. I don't know why. I just got the Panthers by 3. And
Gotcha.
the Bears, like you said, Jordan Love coming back. I think it's going to come down to the Bears defense and Jordan Love on the Packers.
Gotcha. We can certainly start getting into some of my
A 12-win team got to visit an 8-win team. That's
there you go. All right, so first major block of the night. So we talked about guys resting their players, but I think the Eagles really took some heat because they had an opportunity to get the 2 seed, which would certainly guarantee them unless Seattle gets off. That's more home games for them. So the fact that Sirianni rested his players going in. Now again, Eagles certainly they've been playing well. They had it was like a sort of an up and down year for them. They were playing well, and he chose to give up seeding. What was your thoughts on Sirianni's decision to rest, knowing that a potential 2 seed was on the line? Start with Shawnee and go to Coach.
Well, I'm looking at the bracket. So basically, if you look at it now, if they would have been a 2 seed, they would have been going against the Packers, which right now they kind of they already don't have Parsons, and then Love. He's I don't know if he's gonna be 100% or whatnot. So it could have been a potentially good matchup for him, but they didn't want to go to Green Bay. That's a whole different. So maybe it was some strategy there. Hey, let's just sit back. So instead of going to Green Bay, they going to San Fran.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? They was in a position to do that. I guess I don't really make too much about it.
I don't know. Maybe he was watching the college playoffs and saw that the 2, 4, 3, and 4 seed got knocked off. So maybe he didn't want to. I don't know. Maybe he just. But it didn't make a lot of. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. But if you got a chance to improve your position and potentially give your fans another home game, I think you got to take that.
Yeah. Now that because even though now, because I'm in the past, both seeds 1 and 2 got a first round bye.
Right.
But only the first seed now. But 2 seed, you still got a home field advantage.
Don't San Fran go to Philadelphia?
Well, that's what I'm thinking now. They wouldn't be going to Green Bay. Everybody would have been coming up to Philly except
Seattle.
So yeah. Only thing. So forget what I was just saying. Talking about going up to Green Bay, they would have been coming up to Philly. But only thing I could say is just I guess the coach knows his teams better than everybody else on the outside. If they must have had some type of nagging that they was dealing with towards the latter end of the season, he wanted to rest. Now, it could be a situation where what happened down in Atlanta, where the GM and the head coach, they made that decision to go with drafted Michael Penix, and the owner was like, okay, what was you doing? But he let them run with it. Then ultimately that decision failed. They both got kicked out. Mm-hmm. I can imagine Lori like, okay, you rest our guys. We could have had home field advantage, but I'm gonna let you run with it. And see, 49ers was playing good football until that last game.
Mm-hmm.
So you going to their house for the first game. It's not like Philadelphia has been playing like, only thing about Philly, you just keep, they the defending champs. but they really haven't been looking like defending champs all season.
No, they haven't. That's what I'm saying. You would think you want to give yourself every advantage possible, and every So, Coach, what do you think? I mean, you're chomping at the bit here.
How they don't look like a Super Bowl champion? They had a double-digit win season. They still was at the top basically the whole season. Now, here's the thing: when they have a bad game, it's like they have a bad season, and they still finished at the top. They would have been at home either way, and it gives them a chance to rest their players, right? And then warm weather teams don't do well going into the cold. They don't do, and you're going to get. We need to rest because San Francisco will come to play.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but if you got a 2 seed, like Shawnee said,
I can understand, but they won the Super Bowl.
You want every game though.
But you would think, yes, but they won the Super Bowl. Right? They won the Super Bowl. The fact that they get a home team, you never know in the playoffs. It's a reset, so you get a home game that can get you going, and then you can have a run. Because Philadelphia all year haven't had that run everybody's looking for. They win a couple games. So, and this is a great time for Saquon to be 25 carries or more. He should have the ball in his hands 25, and I believe Philadelphia can still make it to the NFC.
I don't know if you want to go
They're not hosting. They're going to San Fran. They're not hosting any games. That's the thing. They had a chance to host. On the only game they would not have hosted if they would have played.
Wait a minute. No. The fact that they won the division, they have the home game.
Oh.
They're division winners, so they get the home.
Right.
No, okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, never mind. They had a chance to host multiple games at home.
Correct.
I understand that. I understand that. But
Philadelphia,
But that's just coming to the cold weather. It's a great. You gonna see a difference in San Francisco's play in Philadelphia.
Oh, no doubt. I'm just saying, but throughout, because this might be the only home game that they have. Wouldn't you want another one?
But we Super Bowl champions. We got that.
Rams,
they have to be knocked off.
Against the Rams or Seattle, so I would think you'd want that advantage.
They got to be knocked off.
All right, I got you. Certainly moving to the next block. Obviously, we talked about this a little bit. I mean, I would say congrats to certainly the Panthers for clinching the division. Look, you got to play the games, right? I mean, certainly them basically making it into the playoffs with essentially a losing record, we saw what's happened with the Bucs. So they played, their best game in a long time. What they lost like 7-8 in a row, I think. The Bucs. I mean, they were really
like 4, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, they were really tanking, and so for them to come up the way they did and still lose the game, but I mean, I was not impressed with the Panthers at all. Couldn't do anything on offense. I think their defense certainly kept them in the game. But again, certainly with the Bucs being hampered the way they are, and they get in because, again, Atlanta won. So, again, congrats to them for getting in. But that's not, you can't feel very good about that. So they're definitely going to have a mentality of, just forget everything that is for. It's right now it's 0-0. And you got to go in there and just try to win. But Coach, from your perspective, certainly this is the classic case of backing into the playoffs, where you didn't have necessarily control over your destiny. So what were your thoughts on Atlanta? I mean, the Panthers getting playoff and winning the division.
I mean, you just sort of touched on it. We've had this scenario before from a more dominant team, and the fact that they've shown over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years that they've sort of been one of the bottom teams, and the fact that they get in like one of them old Saints teams with the losing record. To me, it shows a growth. Now they could have a chance again to come into the playoffs and they might go on a 2-game winning streak. Right. They playing against some hell of a teams, but it's I don't know. It just gives you that motivation. Now they have to play. They can't just we hear and we celebrate. Tampa Bay, Shawnee, remember Baker Mayfield was your MVP, and he faded quick when it got cold. Remember when he was hot, he was the man. When he got cold, the whole team just shifted. And I think there was something going on because they sort of went backwards once Evans got hurt. It just fell apart.
Yeah.
They Evans got hurt, then Bucky Irvin got hurt. He started losing weapons. Irvin, Evans, and I think the other receiver he was injured for a time. But I think this is more. I think Carolina just won the division by default, basically, because Tampa Bay lost 8 of their last 11 games. And that include like a 3-game lose streak at one time, then followed by they won 1, and then immediately followed by a 4-game losing streak. So they was just they gave that division away. They had it, and if they would have just won 2 more games, they would have. Because you remember that game that they lost versus Atlanta, and then I think it was another close game, but yeah, that was the one that coach came to the post game just cussing everybody out.
Yeah.
What they say he will be back. They bring him back.
Yeah, we're going to talk about certainly obviously it was the Monday clean out. So we're going to talk about some of those firings that are coming up as that happened this past week as well. But just before we go on, it just came to my mind. What are your thoughts on division winners hosting playoff games regardless of their record? Are you good with that? So you got 12-3, 12-14, 13-14, and you got an 8-9 team that won the division, but they host a playoff game. How do you feel about that?
I think the most popular thing is that everybody go back to the whole beast mode run in the playoffs. Because remember that Seattle and Lynch had that key run for a touchdown.
Yeah.
New Orleans was the higher win team, but because Seattle won the division, they got a chance to host that game, and they just got the momentum. I don't have no issue with it because that's what you do. You win a division. It keeps you focus on winning your division, and then you go up. So, if a team just happen to play in a weaker division than you, and like in this case, you have 3 NFC West teams finished with 11 wins or higher, compared to the NFC East team. When you see the division winner, they won with 8 games. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you can look at it from that point, but it's almost like college football, how they conference give them they win their conference title, so them get like an automatic bid into the playoff, even though it's many times, well, you got one ACC team in there, but many times either between the Big Ten or SEC. But then also you got these smaller teams, they sneak in and get dominated in the early rounds. NFL, you can't really look at it like that because they say any given Sunday, but I really don't have no issue with it. It gives teams a reason to play the season. Focus on winning your division. That's what you have to do.
Gotcha. Coach, your thoughts?
No, I agree with Shawnee, and it's what we saw. It came down to some teams' last game, and to see teams every year, you're going to have at least 3 to maybe 5 new teams breaking through into that playoff, and this is what I think the NFL's wanting to be every year. But I always support the conference champions. You play each other twice, and we've seen it before. Teams with a losing record go into the playoffs. So, some teams that have been rolling. Who's been rolling? New England, Denver. Mm-hmm. Young quarterbacks, young team. They could be out the first game when they come to play. Yeah. Playing a good veteran team, a Super Bowl champion team, a Buffalo trying to make it. It could be a long day for somebody.
Now you brought up Buffalo. I don't know if we actually this will be what topic we'll talk about in the show, but if Josh Allen has, I understand his weapons have kind of diminished a little bit, but he has a running game now. His receivers may have diminished compared to what he used to have. He used to have a Diggs, and then he used to have his receivers. They not producing like they did in the couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a running game. So hey man, if you have no Lamar, no Mahomes, no Burrow, usually these other young quarterbacks they're supposed to be looking up to you. And so I mean it's his thing. But Coach brought up a good point about these divisions. The NFL is a marketing machine. They know what they're doing when they do these schedules. And like we said, we just talked about the schedule the past week, how these division games, think about how much eyeballs they had on the Ravens-Steelers game. And then even though it was technically a useless game because not a team went to the playoff, but it was weight depending on it between the Saints and the Falcons, a division game. So it's one thing to look like, okay, the teams have to go, hey, you have a better record, but we got to go to this division with a team who has a lower record. But as far as scheduling and viewership from the fans, NFL ain't gonna mess because you saw exactly how important division games are this past weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Question asked by again David David Tyre 86. And I know Coach has always been harping on this. So, you think the team that has the best running game is going into the playoffs? So, yeah, I mean, obviously December football, that's typically, running the football at that point. So yeah, I think you have to have a running game, certainly at this point of the season. So I know, Coach, that's something you've always been harping on. So any thoughts for David's comment?
No, I just saw it. I just said NFC, y'all would go with Seattle. In AFC, I would go with Buffalo. Dalvin Cook led the league in rushing. And Shawnee, I think Buffalo's receivers are more well-rounded now. But Josh Allen has to be on point. He uses more weapons instead of the star receivers, and that's what makes him more. He just can't do too much. That's all. It's his time, like you said.
Gotcha.
I tell you what team that defense was glad they didn't make the playoffs. That's the Ravens. Because Derrick Henry was cooking towards the end. And now that they don't have to worry about him, they were like, okay. Because that dude, the way he was going.
Jacksonville, okay.
Now, Jacksonville, that is a team. I know because they played Buffalo and got Josh Allen on the other side.
Yeah, we gonna pick them. We gonna have our pick them. So you guys stay tuned. We'll get into that later on, not to give too much away. But I want to get into obviously the from my perspective, the main game of the night, and I've come up with this. I have a new grading system. All right, this is my life as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan for the past about 7 years. That every game, it doesn't matter if they're playing a team 1-15 or 15-1. Every game is it's like I'm gonna see Miss Elizabeth. So this is my new grading scale. All right. So this game was 4 Elizabeth. So the maximum is 5. If this was the Super Bowl and it happened, then I'd put it up to 5. So again, 4 Elizabeths. This game, the back and forth of the game, and I was going back and forth with Shawnee and the guys in the chat and whatnot. It's like this is the bane of my existence. I mean, we missed the extra point, which is kind of comes out of nowhere, and then at the end, their kicker has to miss. So again, it's like this is how I live or die as a Steelers fan. I can never have just an easy, comfortable win. But again, it was an exciting game. So again, I'm happy that the Steelers, certainly punched their ticket to the playoffs and won the AFC North the first time since 2020. But this game, it gave me all kinds of problems. But Shawnee, your thoughts on the game, and we'll talk about certainly you had some comments going before the game, which you thought was the formula for Baltimore to win. Obviously, they didn't do that. And but your thoughts on this game. But it's like there was obviously segments of this game I couldn't even watch. I was just so stressed out that I was just like, man, why y'all do this to me every single game, where every game comes down to the last play. Even when they played the Jets opening game 1, it took a hit by Jalen Ramsey to draw the ball away from the receiver so that the Jets wouldn't be in field goal range, possibly win or tie that game. So again, I was just very stressed. But your thoughts on this game? It was the last game of the regular season, but what was your biggest takeaways from it?
Well, the thing I mentioned last week, I was like, I need Derrick Henry to have 30 carries, almost no less than 30 carries for them to have a chance to win this game. And he ended up with 20 carries. He finished over 100 yards, so he was cooking. But I can't really put a bad game. I mean, I guess that would have determined, the Ravens had the ball. They would have controlled the clock more if they would have gave him more carries, which what a run game would do. But they was effective with it, and they capitalized on the plays they had, like the play that Lamar Jackson had when he found Lively on that fourth down.
Mm-hmm.
There was plays made. That was right before the missed field goal.
Right.
Defense, I mean, the cornerback slipped. What gave Calvin Austin that wide open touchdown after, Baltimore just scored themselves. So the game flow was the game flow. I'm not one of them people who come back like that Monday morning quarterback who they should have did this. The game flowed the way the game flowed, and obviously both teams had a chance to win that game. I saw a meme that basically perfectly said like it was a field goal. One side, on the outside of the post, Harbaugh fired. Inside, it was a field goal good. Tomlin fired, and that's basically how it felt. Like if you missed it, if he would have made the field goal, who knows what would have been said. The chatter about Tomlin would have been a whole lot louder and hotter after that game. But then he missed the field goal. It turned out to be Harbaugh, but I can't. I mean, that game could have been a tie game, could have been overtime, but Boswell, he missed a field goal. That gave the Ravens a chance to potentially win the game.
Yeah, well, you missed the extra point. It wasn't your field.
Yeah.
But when I understand, it got tipped. It didn't. It wasn't like just a straight miss. I think they played it back, and apparently, player for the Ravens got a hand on it. That's why it took an angle that it did. But yeah, I mean, but it was just like there's no lead that's safe. It has to come down to the last play of the game, essentially. That decides the game, and that's usually how it is between these two teams. But we're going to talk about Lamar, and we got to talk about, again, I asked you guys at the beginning of the season about Lamar Jackson, and I got to give you guys, I got to come back and ask the question. But before we do that, let me just acknowledge $10 super chat for my number one fan, Prince Anton. Appreciate you here. The best way to make the NFL playoffs better, take a page from the World Cup. Top two teams in each division. Division champs seeded 1 through 4, number 2 teams seeded 5 through 8. Appreciate the commentary there. But again, I keep asking you guys about Lamar. Now again, Shawnee, who's the head of the Lamar Jackson Appreciation Fan Club. First thing he said after the game, well, you can't blame Lamar for this loss, but all I'm saying is this: Lamar Jackson career against the Steelers is 3-7 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know about his playoff record. Now, again, the tight end dropping balls and all that kind of stuff, granted, but he also threw some INTs in that game. At what point you guys want to say Lamar Jackson is so much better than, say, a guy like Jalen Hurts, and you guys keep pumping, keep hyping him. Now, again, obviously he had injuries this year, and things didn't kind of, go well. But again, big games, big moment. And I thought he had a decent game. He only had like 18 pass attempts. And I think in the first half, he only had 6 pass attempts in the first half. I know Derrick Henry, he had a very productive half, but they couldn't close the door again, even, missed field goal and everything else. So again, at what point are we going to hold? And I asked this at the very beginning of the season: how many more chances, how many more apologies are you guys going to give Lamar Jackson? Now his coach is gone, so new guys comes in there. So how many more excuses are you going to give the guy?
Let me put, because I on a Facebook group I'm in, a sports group, I made a comment. I say Lamar Jackson is just an upgraded version of Dak Prescott. And that ruffled people's feathers because he's a better quarterback than Dak as far as he has more accomplishments than Dak. But at the time, now this is like 2 or 3, go back 2 or 3 seasons ago, because I think he already passed back as
Straight
far
up
as
like nobody.
playoff games. But at the time, based on his numbers was identical to Dak Prescott. But Dak Prescott gets killed in the media with his playoff performances. But Lamar Jackson, even coming off his MVPs, his numbers was looking just like Dak's, almost even worse. So that's what I was saying. He was like an upgraded version of Dak Prescott because he was a better quarterback in the regular season. But when the playoffs get here, he's producing about the same numbers. Now, recently, fast forward like the past 2 or 3 seasons, I think, this is my whole thing about with the quarterback position, because I think it's just low-hanging fruit because everybody, it gives people, you can just ignore the game. All you got to do is come to the scoreboard, see who win, who lost. Oh, Lamar lost, put it on Lamar. And I'm like, okay, man, if you look at the past playoffs, you can't, like Stephen A. be saying on First Take, don't have people say, don't let it be you. And many of the losses that the Ravens had recently, I consider last week, Ravens, that's a playoff game. Because you win and in. Because you're going to have to do that for the rest. That was a playoff game.
Lamar, can't get it done.
But Lamar did do it. He did, at the end of the game, Lamar put his team in position to win that game. His field goal kicker didn't deliver. Lamar didn't have it wasn't Lamar when Zay Flowers had a touchdown, but he got punched out at the 1-yard line by the Chiefs. It wasn't Lamar because his tight end, who was a perfect pass, just went through his arms. So I think it's like a lazy man's argument because, like I said, you don't have to watch the game. You just go look at the scoreboard. Ravens lost, okay, Lamar. So that's going to be the whole thing that people will use against Lamar. But then I'm like, how can you say that?
He's 3-7 against the Steelers that have had over the last 5 years Mitchell Trubisky, right?
Yeah. But
all these subpar backup QBs.
But Mr. Ben,
you beating him. He lost to Mason Rudolph.
But you changed it. You changed it with that one because that's an interdivision rivalry. They play each other twice, so that's a rivalry game. Like me as a Texans fan, I don't care how bad the Titans are. Hell, you saw how the Texans look like, even though they put their backups when they played against the Colts. Those games, they play each other twice a year. Nobody knows you better than your division opponent. Now the Steelers, they have its number, but going to the playoffs, like I say, but even that game last.
What's his playoff record?
But that's what I'm saying, though. That's just the lazy man's argument because you don't even have to watch the game. You just go straight to the scoreboard at the end of the week and see Ravens lost. Okay, Lamar, what's going on? You're not winning. But if you see those, especially the past 2 playoff games, excluding last week, how they ended. Lamar, I guess people are looking for Lamar. What I'm guessing is, I think I know. People is looking for Lamar to post the numbers he do in the regular season into the postseason. Now that can be understandable, but
he's simply supposed to, just like the great quarterbacks.
But he
like
does.
Montana,
he put his team,
just like Tom Brady.
But Tom Brady had a receiver to catch a ball on his helmet.
In 2 Super Bowls, even one that he lost, he played big time.
But that's what I'm saying. You're looking for the big numbers. Sometimes Lamar Jackson's numbers may not be that high.
Do what is required to win, and if that means putting up the big numbers, he's got to do that.
But
he's got to have that game where he puts the team on his
Mr.
back.
Bennett,
and he
wins 10 other players on the field with him. They all get paid millions of dollars as well. So Tom Brady beat the Giants because the Giants beat
Tom Brady.
The Giants beat Tom Brady because the receiver caught the ball on his helmet. He did his job. Well, unfortunately, with Lamar, he had 2 receivers. Hang
on. Earlier in that year, the Giants and the Patriots played, and it was like both teams put up like almost 40 points. And then
but in the game, though,
and Tom Brady, I think they put up not even less than 20 points in that game.
But in the game, though, That game right there is the main reason why people are talking about Eli potentially going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But he
Because
did it
that
twice.
game,
They did it twice to the Patriots.
exactly, because Mario Manningham made an awesome catch on the sideline for him again. His receivers made
players showed
plays.
Yeah, they showed up.
Lamar, who has a potential Hall of Fame tight end in Mark Andrews,
He ain't
let him down. But nobody is holding Andrews accountable for that. Everybody looking at Lamar. And then Zay Flowers, who I can't blame for Zay Flowers because he was trying to get the ball in the end zone. But unfortunately, that was a hell of a punch by the Chiefs player.
Yeah,
knocked the ball out. So, again, nobody faulting Zay Flowers for fumbling the ball right before he crossed the end zone. They looking at Lamar. So it's like, that's why I say it's like the lazy man's argument. Damn the game. You don't have to watch the game. They just go straight to the scoreboard at the end of the game. Ravens lost. Oh, we got more ammunition on Lamar. Next year, Ravens lost. Got more ammunition on Lamar. And meanwhile, but did you watch the game? Lamar did what he had to do. Unfortunately, his teammates didn't step up for him like other teams.
This is what we've come to. Blame everybody. Blame it on the alcohol.
But Sonny, Lamar has went through that his whole career. He's one of the only players.
Well, before the last three games,
he's always gone through that.
He had some bad.
They didn't think he can be a quarterback when he came into the league.
But
he's always had that.
Coach, I'm asking the question. At what point do we hold Lamar Jackson accountable?
I held him accountable this year.
I've asked this question the last 2 years.
I held him accountable this year.
But
I said he quit on his team, and I believe, to me, he was definitely missed on the field. Now, injuries are injuries, can't question the injury, but I think his window is going to close in the next 3 years. He must win a championship to be solidified as one of the greatest. But like Shawnee said, man, it's been 3 other players that messed up Lamar's chances, and it's Lamar's fault. It ain't even the coach's fault.
Hang on. Is it the coach? So again, shout out to 808 Shorts. Do you think that the Ravens blow it up? And could Lamar go to another team? Could he do it with another team?
Yeah, they ain't gonna blow it up with the offense. They gonna blow it up with the defense. Offense is solid. They're going to have to keep Derrick Henry, draft the running back, get your defense together, because they let Pittsburgh drive down the field 3 times in the second half. Made them look soft.
This is definitely not your traditional Ravens defense. This is we long past those days. Terrell Suggs and those guys back in the day. So this is not smash mouth that we've seen.
Is that Lamar's fault with the defense letting Pittsburgh do that?
I'll ask this because I think the thing which I don't know is going to be different now that Harbaugh is not there. What I give credit to Harbaugh, because like Coach mentioned, Lamar, he was doing his thing in college, but people, because of his athleticism and all that, they wanted to play him a different position, whatever it was. A lot of times, if you're an athletic quarterback coming into the NFL, they'll let you play the quarterback, but they try to fit you in a mold they want you to be in. And what I always gave credit for Harbaugh, which is going to be interesting now that he's gone, see if the next coach will do that. Harbaugh let Lamar be Lamar. And I always gave him credit for that. Lamar, that's why, because I still don't think we've seen a quarterback like Lamar. Even Michael Vick, Lamar killing people with his legs. And many other coaches, they were like, no, be a pocket quarterback. And they will force him to be a pocket, even though Lamar improved on that, but he let Lamar's skill set improve naturally instead of trying to force it. But I always gave him credit for that.
All right, Coach. And this is something, shout out this guy who never, again, you could say he's had a similar trajectory to a Lamar, even though he never won an MVP or whatever. We said we never saw a player like Lamar. I tend to remember a guy named Randall Cunningham back in the day who did freaky stuff with the ball also. I think we have seen Lamar before.
Cannon
had the legs and everything, but I'm just saying, you say you never saw anybody like Lamar, but I know Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, but again, Brother Bennett, you had Cunningham, you had Vic, right? And that's what I'm saying. Even those players didn't get the flack that Lamar get if they don't win. I mean, that's the uniqueness about it.
Yeah, and Lamar, and again, unfortunately, because those guys didn't deliver, you can say that he's on a Michael Vick trajectory or he's on a Randall Cunningham, a dual threat QB. You know, yes, he's got a couple MVPs to go on his mantle, but when it comes to winning the big games, he hasn't delivered yet. And everyone's got what's that? Peyton Manning was judged by that until he won a Super Bowl. He was judged as couldn't win the big game. So I'm just saying he's in that category.
I just think that's just
but Lamar's still young though. This is only a 7th year.
Yeah, he's still young, but I'm like, I mean, when
the Ravens got
you can't put Lamar did what Lamar had to do in the past 3 playoff games.
Yeah, he
like
did
I say, I don't talk about the early because like I mentioned he was an upgraded version of Dak Prescott. His numbers was literally identical to Dak, and we all know what type of playoff failures, I guess, bombs that Dak had. Lamar's numbers, not his win-loss, even though it was like that, his numbers he was putting up was mirroring that of Dak. But recently, the past 3 seasons, Lamar, it wasn't like he was lighting it up, but he was keeping his teams in the game until the point where literally one play at the end of the game where he led his team down, one play because his teammates didn't come through for him. But unfortunately for Lamar, that L gets put on his record, and everybody keeps pointing that Lamar didn't do this, Lamar didn't do this, Lamar didn't do this. I'm like, okay, what about
I'm not even saying that he didn't do. I'm saying in these playoffs, he has to do more. When again, we've seen these legendary players, you put your team on your back and you overperform. That's what Jalen Hurts has done. And that's why to this day. I mean, in terms of clutch, now again, he's had a so-so year. I want to see him in the playoffs. There's certain guys who can elevate, and I'm not seeing that out of Lamar Jackson.
Ben, I'm just, how can he do that if his team we ain't gonna see a Shohei Ohtani did this past playoff. Well, that's the first time I've seen a baseball player win a game by himself when he struck out dudes and turned around and hit 3 home runs. That's the first time I've ever seen that. But this, I like he did his part. He put his team in a position to win, and basically the way he lost this past game versus the Steelers is basically the same way he lost the previous 2 playoff appearances. He put his team in a position to win. His field goal kicker missed the field. Now he at home watching this.
I'm obviously, shout out again KP from KCI Cincy fan. Obviously, I'm AFC North fan here. So yes, this is the AFC North. Kind of kicking a brother when he's down. We appreciate,
Mr. Bennett will have a different conversation.
I can appreciate that a little bit. But hey, my advice to Lamar Jackson, again, he went on that healthy diet program, lost about 10, 15 pounds coming to the season, and he got hurt. I'm on that Chad Ochocinco plan. Start eating some cheeseburgers or whatever. Get the protein in and bulk up again, because you don't need that to be taking them hits in the NFL. But again, we got a Najee guy again, Anton again with the $10 super chat. So again, he goes back to that game, that year that the Giants upset the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Yeah, it was a 38-35 game. And, so certainly, but again, when it came to the Super Bowl, again, the Patriots, they couldn't deliver. And they had Randy Moss on that team. And they couldn't get Randy Moss into the game. So, so again, that's a loss on them. But again, Tom's got 6 rings. He'll be fine. And then we got another $10 super chat from Anton. Says the reason why the Giants beat the Patriots in Super Bowl 20. My Roman is off. I think that's 27. So they made the necessary adjustments from the first meeting and implemented in the second one. Final score 17.
No, that's 42.
Is it 42? Yeah, XL. Yeah, XL 42. Here we got, again, KP from KC. Lamar has a great front office, and he's never won while being the favorite, and it's embarrassing. So again, I mean, this is I'm gonna keep asking guys. You guys want to give him every excuse in the world, but again, Jalen Hurts is a game manager. Jalen Hurts doesn't compare. We got to And if you want to call him Dak Prescott, go ahead. You can do that also. I'm good with a Dak Prescott comparison, or better Dak Prescott, but where's Dak going? Certainly in his career, and certainly Josh Allen. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a down year for them, and I'm not sure I'm liking their chances there. But one other team I want to highlight. So this came from our guy Dante. Hopefully, he makes it to the show tonight. So Dante, he has some shade to give. So let's talk about, again, obviously with the Patriots. The Patriots, certainly, obviously, they're a solid 2 seed in the playoffs. Fewest wins against teams with winning records in 2025, the Patriots. So I know you had some Patriots fans who were here earlier in the chat, and basically you had my man Dante saying that the Patriots are basically overhyped and overrated. Essentially what he's saying. I'll translate for him. He didn't want me to use such stern language, but he's basically saying that the Patriots are overrated. They don't have a lot of winning wins against winning teams on their schedule. But your thoughts here: is this a fair comparison to the Patriots, or do you think they're legit?
I think the Patriots was a legit, because even the games they lost, they was hella competitive in them. It was just a ball that a play that they didn't make, then properly executed. They lost the game. I think they're a legit team, but I mentioned earlier in the season that for Josh Allen, because of his playoff pedigree and his experience, I think that will come into play versus teams like the Patriots and the Broncos, because they have 2 young quarterbacks. So, and I think this is the first time they experienced this type of, playoffs is different. So they gonna get a crash course learning how the intensity turns up. They both own good teams, and even with the Patriots only have 1 win versus a winning team, they from what I've seen in throughout the season, and even during the games they lost, they were competitive. So who they played the first game? The Chargers. Chargers is different, because I'm about to say, if you take the Patriots lightly, you will be going home. And that's just flat out. You want to bring your A game, but the Chargers, they kind of limped, because they had them O-line injuries.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Their QB dealing with a broken hand. He's still playing, but he's still, But they do have a running back. But the Patriots are just a balanced team. They got a balanced offense, and they quarterback may win MVP. And they have a balanced defense. So I guess they may not be the sexy pick that everybody talks about right now, but I'm like, you take them lightly if you want to. They'll be watching this show. They'll be watching this show next week. They may be joining us because they'll have the free time because the Patriots sent them home. So, yeah, I understand the whole 1-win thing, but they are a good team. And you will have to put your A game together to beat them. Because I think they have the ability to beat any team in the AFC. So,
Gotcha.
Like that.
Gotcha. Coach, any comments before we go to our next section?
You muted.
You muted, sir.
Again, LA is flying to New England. It's going to be cold as hell. It's a different football. New England, again, they won the games they needed to win, right? And, losing against teams, I guess, in your division, yeah. But I think that they can beat the Chargers at least this first round. I do. They have a good coach who's been there before. So it's going to be, but again, young team, both quarterbacks. Was the Chargers in the playoffs last year?
Yeah, I think didn't they lose to the Texans?
Lose first round or something? But yeah, and that's the unique thing about it. Everybody's new and fresh coming to this position, except Philadelphia. So everybody has an opportunity to win, especially with New England and the Chargers. So.
Gotcha. All right, let's talk about the coaching carousel that has been taking place. So obviously, probably the easiest pick on this list. I mean, you got Pete Carroll losing in, for the Raiders. And the Raiders, they've just been, we've talked about other teams that had, coaches. The Raiders have had 15 coaches. So this goes back even to the Al Davis era. Very little stability, certainly since that last Super Bowl appearance, I think back in 2001, 2002. Lots of instability there with this organization. I thought it was Antonio Pierce. I thought he did a decent job with that team. But where do you think the Raiders go from here? Also, the Raiders, they also have the number 1 seed in the draft coming up. So, who do you think? I mean, with all the coaching carousel, in fact, I want to come back to this. Well, let me just kind of go through the list of the firings that have taken place. So we already know about Pete Carroll. Then obviously, certainly with Cleveland, Stefanski being out is no surprise. But then here you got Skip Bayless coming in talking about Deion coming to coach the Browns. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. If anything, Prime needs to be get healthy first and foremost. Get your health in order before even trying to take that on. But again, no doubt there. And then you also have again Harbaugh out. There's probably certainly one of the bigger names that's out. And to your point, Shawnee, I mean, Derrick Henry got 20 carries. You said that the number had to be 30 carries in that game. That could have increased their chances of winning. And so again, you put that on Harbaugh. He's a Super Bowl winning champion. I don't think he's done as a head coach. But certainly, that's a big, with teams with letting go these guys. I think his name will still be in the running for another opportunity. And then the last one, which kind of surprised me, was Raheem Morris getting fired. I mean, he had Atlanta playing well. They had a little win streak again with Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. Again, Penix is out. I think he got that team kind of clicking. This to me was the biggest surprise. I wasn't expecting this. And likewise, I think the coach for the just as a side note, Cliff Kingsbury, who's a former NFL coach, I think he got let go by the Commanders yesterday. Yeah, so he's in the coaching carousel as well. So the question then is, who, certainly for the Raiders position, and do any of those coaches, are you optimistic about any coaches, or you think they think outside the box and try to get someone else? But it's like they haven't not been able to secure the coaching position there. I talked to Tommy B earlier on Instagram, and he said he wouldn't mind seeing Cliff Kingsbury get a shot with the Raiders. But what say you guys on who's likely to get that spot?
I think the Kingsbury thing. I think it was his decision. I think to step away from that team, if I'm not mistaken. Because it's a lot of head coaching jobs out there now, so he may try to go look at that. I don't know what the Raiders. This is why the Raiders are the Raiders right now. I don't know what you was thinking when they hired Carroll as your head coach. He's an older dude, so they don't have enough. But now they're gonna have Tom Brady in the mix and interviewing. So hopefully they're gonna with him and the other person they have interviewing these coaches, and they decide you're going to have to give. They did the same thing with what's his name, the former player, Antonio
Pierce.
Yeah, they don't give him one. You're like, no coach is going to be able to do anything in one season. And then you hire Carroll, and he's 70+ years old,
and so do worse.
Yeah, so Raiders, they don't know what they're doing. But when Brady, part of the brain trust, picking the next head coach, maybe they pick a good one and give him actual years to establish his culture on the franchise and build his team like that. Because that 1 year, no team is going to be successful there. That's a terrible way to build a franchise.
But now, are they going to make Tom Brady like the official GM?
He's
an owner.
Or he's going to be like a player personnel.
He's going
to be in the process of hiring. They're going to include him. He's going to be heavily processed between, I think, the head coach, and they should listen to him because they don't need a quarterback. They got the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
So he gonna have his voice gonna be very loud. I'm assuming over there.
Right.
He gonna control everything Raheem coming in, basically. He gonna pick the head coach.
Yeah.
He gonna
Now,
be.
you think if he had a better relationship, you think he could possibly try to get Belichick in there?
No,
Belichick.
no,
Okay.
That stop at North Carolina was Belichick. Let him stay over there.
I know a good selection, and I heard it also. Indiana's coach. I can see that.
Shane Steichen.
Yeah,
They already said they gonna say he's staying.
We'll see when they come with that Tom Brady money.
Yeah. Well, the owner, I believe she already. Yeah, they already said he's staying there. But the thing about Raheem Morris with that in Atlanta, I'm not surprised at that because I was hearing kind of whispers throughout the season and I was getting to it in the beginning of the show. So you remember, Atlanta went to go out of free agency, sign Kirk Cousins and paid him that big contract.
$100 million.
And then that same draft, first round, they go draft Michael Penix. And the owner, I remember when they was in the draft room, and he was talking to the GM, and like, what are you doing?
That was ass backwards.
Yeah, well, what are you doing? We just spent all this money to bring Cousins. Then we could have got offensive line help. Even though they have, Atlanta has decent, real good skill players, but they could have got another weapon or something. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like you wasted a pick on another quarterback. Right. So I remember, I forgot his name, Arthur Blank, talking to his GM in that draft room about that. But he's like, okay, we're gonna see how to go. And and remember, because Michael Penix, when he got drafted, he already had 2 ACLs.
He did, yeah.
Now he's on his third, so we don't even know what Penix is. I mean, now you asking your franchise quarterback who got 3 ACL surgeries, and then you got Kirk Cousins. So they was like, I think when Blank, he was like, I let y'all try to do this, but it didn't work out at all. So because it wasn't just Raheem Morris who got fired, it was the GM as well. Both of them got fired. Because I believe it was that whole decision with Michael Penix, and he was already kind of like, what are y'all doing? And he tried to let them do this 1-year thing, and it fell flat on their face. He said, we're going to have to reset this. Because now, I hate to put the pressure on Penix like that, but now it's like, it's kind of like a wasted pick. Because now you're going to put potentially, because eventually they're going to put the franchise back in his hands. But now you got a quarterback who's coming off of 3 ACL surgeries. You're like, man, nobody want this. Leave your quarterback damaged goods, and he's the face of our franchise now.
Gotcha. Want to also welcome to the show a guy finally showed up tonight. Guy Dante, good to be on board, sir. Or we gonna call your new nickname now is Shug. You take a look at your AI picture, man. They were very, very reminiscent of Suge Knight. So I'm just saying. How you doing?
Man, hectic, man. My wife's schedule changed, so it's like on like the weekdays sometimes it's a lot on me, and so it's like, man, it was crazy.
Welcome to fatherhood, man.
Then they're done.
Yeah, man.
But I want to go back and talk about Raheem because again, I thought this was really a surprise firing. I think he's certainly one of those guys. I think he can get a job next year. I'm also interested in Brian Flores. Again, I don't know where he stands with his suit against the NFL, if he'll ever get another head coaching spot again. But where do you think Raheem could go as a coach where he can land that year? Like I said, I wouldn't mind him with the Raiders personally.
I heard he interviewed him already.
He's already he got an interview with Tennessee. Okay. They announced that the next day. Yeah. Like I was like, okay.
Who knows? That may be a Rooney Rule thing.
Yeah, Rooney Rule, but he better give
it. Tennessee they're going everywhere. I heard they're interviewing Jason Garrett. I'm like, wow. Yeah. Like that's a strange one. I don't know. It's like some coaches it's tough to tell. Like you can say a Mike Tomlin for sure. If he gets interviewed, you don't feel like that's a Rooney Rule. Mm-hmm. But Raheem Morris, I like him. I felt like he needed maybe another year, but I can see the way they went all in for the defensive players, and then you got the quarterback, but you also took a quarterback, which is good, but also had injuries in college. Now he's had injuries in the NFL, and he's older. So it's just like, and obviously Raheem Morris, if he gets another opportunity, because the black coaches don't always get too many opportunities, absolutely have to nail it to where you are going to come in and tell this next owner, hey, this is going to be my offensive coordinator. This is going to be my second guy. So if he has success and he leaves, I've got a plan in place for that happens. I think as a defensive coach, you really got to sell that you're going to lead the culture and that you do care about offense. But some coaches, they coach one side of the ball and they neglect the other side. And I would say, like Cliff, that's why I wouldn't want Cliff. First of all, Cliff Kingsbury has failed up. I wouldn't want him at all, other than the offensive coordinator. But he's a guy I've heard only cares about the defensive side. Offensive side of the ball, just leave the defense just hanging, just hang out for dry. Like that's not part of your job.
Gotcha. Well, so like I said, they got Go ahead.
Now, wouldn't it be better for Tennessee to hire a offensive-minded coach, just like the Bears did? You got a number 1 draft pick that can clearly throw the ball in the NFL. Just get him an offensive-minded coach. He won't have Tennessee will still be at the bottom of the barrel with a defensive-minded coach, because you saw how this rookie needed that coaching to the next level.
Dan Quinn came in, hit the gate running with a good offensive coordinator, defensive head coach, and went to the NFC Championship. I don't want to hear that. I'm tired of the defensive coach.
Dan Quinn has been coaching, for what? He took Philadelphia to who was at Atlanta to the Super Bowl, so he has that. I'm just saying, you get an offensive-minded coach.
I would say, because Coach bringing up getting an offensive-minded coach for Cam Ward in Tennessee, I think Brian Flores, but he's a defensive coach,
he'll be a
good head coach. Yeah. But the thing to remember, before Flores got into that lawsuit, I think that's the NFL instead of teams. I don't know, but that puts him in murky grounds. But you remember, before that, when he was in Miami, he didn't want Tua. He wanted Herbert, but they drafted Tua. And it wasn't like he really, excelled with Tua. That was one of the main reasons why, they let him go, because it wasn't working with Tua. Yeah. My whole thing with Flores, with Tennessee, is will he believe in Cam Ward? Because he'll be their coach and he'll be like, yeah, Cam, you may be quarterback now, but I'm already looking for another quarterback. Because we've seen him do that. It's not like you can just gonna put him on a team and he's gonna make it work with a quarterback. Mm-hmm. If he has a vision what quarterback he wants, then he may be like Cam. Cam may have a short lease if he is head coach. Yeah. But other than that,
this could be interesting though. If Flores goes to Baltimore, and if he can rebuild that defense of that culture down there from back in the day, that could be something. You got an established quarterback.
And I think he will continue to let Lamar be Lamar, and he'll focus on getting that defense back up.
That could be
Baltimore
scary.
Ravens.
I'll give him that.
Shani, you said it. The NFL ain't going with all that, man. We just hopefully wishing, because again, his name would be in the mix right now, because he's one of the better coaches that's a coordinator right now. So it's unfortunate.
I still don't. I mean, if you go back when he did it, you like, was this a good idea?
Once he went against the ownership,
you already knew what was going to happen. We pretty much said, like, when he did that, do your days as head coach in this week maybe.
Well, we'll see, but I think that would be an excellent landing spot for him should he get another job, or even for Raheem Morris. I would like to see what he could do there as well. But again, I want to just acknowledge Anton's $5 super chat. Mark Davis is running the Raiders like his father. If they don't start doing things different, the silver and black will be irrelevant. Yeah, they've been irrelevant for some time. And honestly, I'm a lifelong Steelers fan, so I have to hate the Raiders, but I always respected the Raiders. But I lost respect for Al Davis, the way he treated Marcus Allen in his career. I mean, really dogged him out. So I was kind of off of Al Davis after that debacle with Marcus, and he had to go to KC and still to prove he could play. But in any event, guys, let's start looking at some of these matchups here. So let's start with some of the playoff games. Now, we talked about Dante before we got on the show. I'm not really looking forward to the Saturday games, because you got Green Bay playing Chicago, Green Bay, they've been playing poorly. Not sure what kind of shape that Jordan Love's going to be in. And now obviously you're going to have the Panthers. I think they're going to be playing. I think the Rams. So I don't I just got a feeling that those are going to be blowout type of games. So I'm not putting a lot of stock into those. But here we have some decent games coming up. So again, you got Sunday game, Patriots and Chargers. And, so again, just start putting some picks in, and then we'll move on to the college games that are coming up this weekend. But Shawnee, your thoughts on this game? Who takes it?
I got the Patriots in this game. I think they're going. Chargers feel like they just kind of limping, especially with Herbert's broken hand, and I think the Patriots are going to take advantage of the injuries the Chargers have on offensive line. So I have the Patriots this game.
Gotcha. Coach?
You muted, Coach.
Yeah, I'm muted, man. Hey, man. Man, I say I'm gonna go with New England by 3.
Doing about 3 points.
Yeah, about 3, man. New England. Just because, again, the cold weather, man. And coming from Cali to New England this time of year, 8:00 game. It's gonna be interesting.
Gotcha. Dante?
I got the Patriots. I think it'll be a close game because that's kind of the games the Chargers play. They play a slow down style, and it's not gonna look real pretty. And the Patriots, I mean, they haven't, like, I mentioned that stat. They haven't beaten a lot of good teams. They had the last place schedule and they took advantage of it. But I think when it gets down to it, it's a playoff game. I expect the head coach Vrabel to be conservative, and that's his nature. I think that's gonna help keep the Chargers in the game. But with no offensive line that's healthy, the offensive line is bad. I don't think that they're going to be able to just protect them well enough to make enough plays.
Yeah, but now Dante, again, you put the thread out there. Only one win this year with the Patriots against a team with a winning record. So I thought you were trying to say that they're kind of paper tigers. That's why I thought you were indicating. So
I was just putting it out there I just wanted to be aware. So, like, don't say I didn't tell you. So if they do lose, like, hey, it could be falling.
Now see, you try to hedge your bet.
I'm putting it out there. But now but realistically, hey, I mean, if it was, it's worth noting. But I don't think as bad as that Chargers offensive line is, and what the impact of the defenders they have in New England, I think that this is a winnable game. I can't pick the Chargers. I can't pick the Chargers in this one. I can't. Okay. I love Justin Herbert. I love Herbert. I felt like he was I'm glad that the Commanders didn't take him, but I think they got this.
All right. Well, again, you put so much into that post that I think you convinced me. I'm going to pick the Chargers in the upset again. So thank you for your contribution for change my mind there. So that'll be my upset pick of the week. Next game is a big one here. So again, we got San Fran and the Eagles coming up in Philadelphia. So we saw San Francisco look pretty pedestrian. Only put up 3 points certainly in the last game against Seattle. You got to go to Philly. Philly, again, rested their players, which, again, as we've been seeing in this college playoff, I don't know if that's necessarily the best idea. And Philly's offense still's not quite, Saquon still hasn't had that, that kind of bust out type of season. So you never know how this is going to go. But the only thing I do know is in the playoffs, from his history, Jalen Hurts seems to rise to the occasion. So in this game, for that very reason alone, I'm taking the Eagles in the win over the 49ers. And, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to be the main reason why they win this game. So, Shawnee, your pick.
I think the Eagles is kind of clicking right now, very late in the season. The defense in particular. I think Barkley is starting to get his legs back. So that run game. 49ers defense definitely hasn't been the same since they lost their two best players on defense. Robert Saleh has been doing a pretty decent job with them, given with the weapons he has available. I think the defensive injuries though may prove to be a little bit too much. Now I think Brock Purdy has been playing well. Besides his last game for Seattle, I think Brock Purdy may do what he do to keep San Fran between him, Kittle, and CMC. They're gonna do what they do to keep them in the game. But I think just Philly's run game, I think, may be the determining factor in this game.
Gotcha, Coach.
Man, I'm taking Philadelphia, man. Again, coming to that cold East Coast, and, a Hollywood team, and it's gonna be different, man. Philadelphia, I think they still the Super Bowl champions, and we still haven't seen that breakout game. This is a great time to sort of incorporate that running game. And Jalen Hurts, he's gonna have to be, rising to the occasion. I don't think San Francisco, they don't do well in cold weather, man. So we'll see. They're going to shut McCaffrey down, and it's going to be a long day for them.
Wow. Actually, Shawnee, you put it out there. We're going to take a small break. We got breaking news. All right, so NBA trade, Hawks trade Trae Young to the Wizards for C.J. McCollum and Corey Nispert. Interesting. We haven't talked a lot of NBA, but I just wanted to put that up there. But we can certainly chop that up. Certainly next week or whatever. We come back to that. But I just want to. So thanks for dropping the breaking on that. But certainly back to the picks. Dante, on this game here, who you got?
I wish both teams to lose, but that's impossible for the playoffs. There's no way I'm picking Philly. I will say the only thing that gives me pause in picking the 49ers is their secondary has been an issue, and obviously they don't have Fred Warner and they don't have Nick Bosa. But what I will say is with Robert Saleh, he's kind of been able to figure it out. They've got guys like Alfred Collins, the rookie they got out of Texas, that's been real good for them. And I think it's going to be a kind of difficult for them to stop if he's healthy, Kittle. For them to stop Kittle and for them to, and then obviously Christian McCaffrey being able to get the ball in a lot of different ways. I'm going to go with an upset pick to say the 49ers. I don't know if they can win it all, but I do think, hey, they come into Philly and upset, like I said. The rest of the guys, when you could have went for the number 2 seed, now I know Philly's philosophy was, hey, we just trying to get into the dance because we're the champs, and we're just going to go get things going. We'll see if that philosophy works out. I think the 49ers come out with the win.
Gotcha. Like I said, I think I'm going with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. And I know, Dante, you weren't here, but before we go on to the next game, the key game in my view, any words on you? I know you're also a member of the Lamar Jackson fan club. I asked the question at the beginning of the year, how many excuses are you going to give him? Now, Shawnee gave about 25 excuses for Lamar Jackson. But anything you want to say on this matter, since I know you're also a member of the club here, just to put a bow on this season.
What I will say is we'll have a conversation one day. There's some things about Lamar Jackson that I'm not in step with the other fans of Lamar Jackson. There's some things that you look at, it's like, But what I will say is this. Obviously, he lost the playoff game. I mean, he lost a game to make the playoffs to play in. He did lose that game because you win and lose as a team. But I will say, when there was times to make big plays, he made them. Hey, you miss a field goal. That's why I always say you don't want to put it in the hands of the field goal. I'll say that he is in the standpoint of, if he was in the playoffs, I would say I have the same pressure on you as to have the same pressure on Josh Allen. You've had the behemoth in Mahomes standing in your way, and now he's eliminated from the playoffs. You win this game, you get a whole playoff game, you get some momentum and get in. This is extremely disappointing, and this is a crossroads for him in his career, in my opinion. That at this point, you have to be able to make it. And I know that I have the same type of critique of Dak Prescott. And people say, well, if you're an elite quarterback don't miss the playoffs. They don't miss the playoffs. Hall of Fame guys don't miss the playoffs. when you look at it, there is one quarterback that did miss the playoffs in the prime of his career, 3 straight seasons, and eventually he went 7-9. His name is Drew Brees, so it can happen, but that's normally a structural issue in which something's not right with that roster. And to me, I don't care what's going on with the roster. You got to be in the playoffs, Lamar. That's why Harbaugh needed to leave because it's like the message is stale. With a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, I think he's just now getting ready to enter the 30. You got to be in the playoffs, multiple time MVP. You got to win the Super Bowl. It's
Gotcha.
just, it's tough. It's tough. It's got to happen. Obviously, you can explain the reasons. You got to win it. You got to win it. Same pressure for Josh Allen. No Mahomes. You got to go You got to go win a Super Bowl, buddy.
Gotcha. All right. So key matchup, certainly for guys, we take this very personally. So obviously, actually, we got another game here. We got certainly Jacksonville and Buffalo. Again, Buffalo, they got the best running attack, I think, certainly going on, or at least the best running back, certainly in these playoffs. But again, Jacksonville's been playing very well. And again, I already said earlier, I got to give it up to their quarterback. I thought, certainly a couple years ago, I thought he was overpaid. Gave him $250 million, but certainly Trevor Lawrence has certainly earned his money this year, and they're playing very well. So again, who do you guys like in this game? It'll be in Jacksonville, so again, weather won't be a problem here. So again, who do you like in this game? Let's start with Dante and work our way up this time.
I'm going with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I'm calling him to win this one. You're going into a place that, hey, it could be, decent environment, going down to Duval. Shout out to the Jags. I know they're happy for what they did and what they accomplished and had a good turnaround. But I think offensive weapons aside or whatever, you got a good running game in Josh Cook. Also, Allen is a runner too. You got the tight ends. They're healthy with Kincaid and I forgot the other one's name. You gotta win this game and make a run.
Gotcha. Coach?
Dante, I'm gonna go with Jacksonville, man. They playing the best team ball that I've seen. I don't think none of us picked them to sort of be in the position that they are. And the fact that, this is Buffalo's best time to come out of the AFC. They done fought Mahomes for a few years. You done overcame Jackson. So now you have to show that you the big dog. But Jacksonville, to me, I think Buffalo might overlook them. They get down that Florida weather, man, and Jacksonville going to be ready, man. I think that's going to be a hell of a game right there, too.
Gotcha. Shawnee?
I look at it like this, because Jacksonville, besides my Texans winning 9 straight, Jacksonville won 8. That's the main reason why the Texans didn't win the division, because Jacksonville has been looking more impressive than the Texans during this streak as well. Like the Jaguars, I think, are playing the best football right now in the NFL, even including Seattle. But they're Jacksonville. Nobody pays attention to them. I pay attention to them because they're a division rival. But if you watch them, they are clicking on everything. And they're going to host this first game at home. But I look at it like this. With all that being said, because I look at it with even like we looked at Mahomes the past couple of seasons. Because Mahomes, the Chiefs weren't the better team when they was going against these other squads. But you gave them the edge because they got the advantage at quarterback position. As hot as Lawrence has been, Josh Allen is still that dude when it comes to quarterback position when you compare to Trevor Lawrence. Because of that, I'm going to have to give the Bills the edge because they have the edge at the quarterback position, just like how it was with the Chiefs. Because like I say, you look at them, they were playing against a team they ultimately won, even though they went to back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. Chiefs didn't have their roster wasn't better than the teams they was playing against. But because they had the better quarterback, he made the plays to keep them in the game. And I believe Josh Allen is going to do that with Buffalo. Other than that, if it was and that's really the only reason why I'm giving the Bills the edge. Because other than that, Jaguars, I think it's gonna be a great game, and they're gonna make people see exactly how they've been looking like all season. Because remember, they went up to Denver, even though Denver still ultimately got the number 1 seed. They went up to Denver and destroyed Denver in Denver. So it's just like they are clicking, and the playoffs is just a different beast. And Josh Allen is a quarterback whose performance has risen in the playoffs. So that alone, I believe he will do the same thing in this game, and he's going to make the clutch plays to give Buffalo the edge. Even if it's about a field goal, leading to a late field goal, I think he's going to have something to do with them winning the game. Because other than that, man, it's hard if I'm saying that because Jacksonville is playing some damn good football right now, and I think many people are going to see that this weekend because they just not a national team. They don't get that much attention.
Yeah. I think I'm going with Jacksonville also. I think just on both sides of the ball, I think they're the better team, and they got probably already the best kicker in the NFL. If it comes down, he's got booting the 65, 70-yard field goals, so he's going to be formidable in terms of this. Should it come down to that, so I just think that Buffalo again, offense can be spotty. They've had some bad losses this year against teams that lost to Miami early on, even though I know it's a division game. But I'm just not seeing the consistency game in and game out from those guys. And to the last guy's point here, Josh Allen, his legacy's on the line also. What has he won at the big spot? Now you can make an argument to say, well, Patrick Mahomes, just like Michael Jordan, stopped a lot of teams from going to the NBA Finals. You could probably make a similar argument about Mahomes, but he's got no Mahomes this year, and now you got Trevor Lawrence. But I just think that I think the team is missing something. And I think, again, Jacksonville, I think they're a more complete team. So I'm going to expect those guys to certainly to win it out. Now, again, Prince, I'm going to hold your comment towards the end of the show, so I may try to come back to it certainly on the hockey end. But I promise I will give you something on the hockey front. But the key matchup of certainly of this week, and again, obviously we got the Houston boys here on the show, and the Steelers. Now, again, I'm going to use some reverse psychology here. Obviously, Houston's got that hellacious defense. They got the two best edge rushers, certainly NFL. And even though it's a home game for the Steelers, as you guys know, Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game since 2016. And so I'm going to use some reverse psychology here. I'm going to pick the Texans to pull the upset out. I know, certainly the offense of Houston might be a little suspect, but I can easily see in this being very similar to that Cleveland game, maybe being a 13-10 game or something like that. So I'm going with Houston for the upset in this game, that top defense in the NFL against the Steelers. And then I'll hear once again the fire Mike Tomlin chant. So that for some reason I can't live in just having a nice win or what have you. So I'm gonna go with that with that reverse psychology and see if it works this time. I'm gonna ride this out. But Shawnee, your thoughts on this game? Again, as you said, 9 in a row by Houston. They're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. So again, how do you see this coming on?
Only thing, as great as the defense has been all season, because I watch the team, I've been noticing some cracks. And they had cracks when they played against the Raiders. That's when Gentry went off. There was cracks when they played against the Cardinals. Their tight end went off on them. And then I saw cracks in the Colts game this past week because the starters started that game. And they played the first half, and then the backup played the second half. And they let a third-string quarterback come in there and give them work. So I've been seeing some cracks in that defense lately, but if they are clicking, which I think they will be because they're going to be amped up for this playoff game, it may be hell for Aaron Rodgers. Once that, because the thing about the Texans, they can generate pressure with just their front four. They don't just send nobody else, and they're going to dominate that Steelers offensive line and give hell on Rodgers. And Rodgers, he gonna have to figure out how to, because they got good secondary. So Stingley is going to be guarding Metcalf. So you're gonna put that right there. He's gonna follow Metcalf, and then they got Lattimore, the other corner, to do whatever he do. So I mean, Steelers gonna have the home field advantage. I believe if the Texans is clicking, it's just defense. Because you see, I'm not talking too much about the offense. C.J. Stroud has not been the C.J. Stroud from his rookie season. He's been reclined, rescinded since then. Now he'll make some plays, and then other than that, they settle way too much for field goals. But the only thing about it with this defense, you give them 20 points, that defense can deliver you a win.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think if that defense is clicking, and which I think they will, because they're going to be amped up for this game. It's a Sunday night game too, so all eyeballs are already going to be on them like they are any other playoff game. But yeah, it may be a long night for your your Steelers, in particular Rodgers.
Hey, Coach, your pick.
Beg the differ, man. Again, man, you got old Texas. What's the temperature down there right now, Sean? It's about 72, 75, something like that.
Them dudes ain't going to care about the weather, man.
It's okay. It sounds good. You're going up in Pittsburgh, man.
You say defense travels.
Listen, you're going to Pittsburgh, man. You got to understand Pittsburgh has a defense, and to me, it's going to come down to DK Metcalf. He's been out 2 games. He owed Pittsburgh a hell of a game, and he's gonna have to step up. And Pittsburgh just needs to run the ball and have a balanced attack, and because their defense is going to be there. But I think looking at it, I would say the Texans, but just because of location and who they playing against, because we still haven't seen the best of Aaron Rodgers. And the playoffs, man, it's a blank slate. I think Pittsburgh has the most experienced team, but I'm excited about the coaching matchups too. That's the thing I'm gonna be looking at, because 2 brothers, man, and it's gonna be exciting. So
I heard that. Want to move to one more block before we move off the NFL. So again, I would say, even though he's and again, Anton, you're gonna just like you said, I was bringing out the salt and vinegar on Lamar Jackson. I may bring out a little bit more salt and vinegar here. So again, congrats, certainly to to the pass rush from Cleveland. I'll just say that he's the all-time leading sack leader with 23 sacks. And however, Michael Strahan has something to say about the matter. It says, I hold the record for 16-game season. You can't compare records from 12-game seasons to 16 to 17-game seasons. So again, it seems like Michael Strahan is being a little salty, but honestly, guys, I kind of agree with this, because I might have been a little bit too young to see him in his prime. I still say to this day, O.J. Simpson is, to me, the legit 2,000-yard runner. I know Eric Dickerson has the record, and we all know about O.J. and the stuff that happened after the football. I get all that. But if you ask those guys, if you ask Eric Dickerson who the best was, he says it was O.J. So O.J. did it in 14 games, had no offense. He didn't have a quarterback. He had Joe Gibbs and whoever else was there. He had, had no offense. He was the offense, and he still got 2,000 yards in a 14-game season. So, I think, something valid. I mean, you can make a case, even in baseball, Roger Maris should still be the home run king, because he hit 61 home runs in 154 games. So if you want to talk about records, I get it. Everybody wants to add more games to the seasons and whatnot. And they talk about the NFL, they want to go to 18 games. But all these records, which are part of the game, are they going to mean anything? They talk about the Miami Dolphins 17-0 season. Well, we know the regular season 17-0, so they can't win it. And that's, to me, that's the only record that would be legit. If a team goes, I guess 19-0 or 20, whatever, how many games you got to win? I guess 20-0. That would be legit.
Mr. Benny, how you gonna have a game go evolve? I mean, you like, hey, it starts with LJ, it stops with LJ.
Adding games to the schedule, then running, rushing records, wide receiver records, quarterback passing records. Does that mean anything?
Well, we don't have that conversation with no other sport but football, because
I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. The undefeated season might be the only record that's worth recognizing for the game
No,
evolving, for adding more
just,
games to the season. If someone
So,
goes
so if that's the case,
3-0,
Brother Bennett, you might as well just take away every other record because Strahan,
I'm just saying,
It,
does the
it
brother
depends
have
on how
a
you. It
point?
depends on how you look at it. No,
I'm
you
saying,
have
does
a
the brother
point.
have a point?
You have a point of saying, hey, I played 16 games and like they've only been playing 17 for like 5 years. But what I will say is this: there are some records that are so unattainable that I don't know if they're going to be some of them in a 16-game season may not be touched. Nobody has sniffed Peyton Manning's passing yardage record. Nobody's sniffed that in a passing error. So it's like some records won't be, but I understand it from the standpoint of, hey, you had this record under this amount of games. So if you want to feel like, if you want to put it to that way, it's like, hey, I got this amount of stats in this, game. I'm not tripping on it. He said it kind of tongue in cheek with it anyway, because, kind of smiling and joking, but there was some truth in it. There was a truth in it that he feels that way. So it's like, hey, if he feels
But he
that way,
only
that's
got it for
fine.
like another
Man, get
half a
out his
sack.
feelings, man.
If he
He
went
broke
that
somebody
last
else's
game,
record.
he had two games to get the record against us. He couldn't.
And the reason y'all didn't win that game because y'all were so focused on him not getting the record. We know
I'm just
Metcalf
saying,
that, but they were just like, get the ball out quick, get
if
the
he
ball
got
out quick.
26 sacks or
well,
27 sacks or something, you can average it out more. But again, he got a half a sack with one extra game. He got a half a sack more, but he gets the accolades as the all-time leading sack leader. It's not even close.
I put it like this. Look, we don't have this conversation, this issue really with no other sport but football because I can't.
When Mark
because
McGuire,
he can't really.
when Mark McGuire had the home run record, he got 62. And he said, but Roger Maris, in fact, the Maris family was in the game.
But baseball, but this is the point. Baseball and basketball, MLB and MLB, I'm sure they played today's game played more games and there's more teams. But generally, the amount of games for those two leagues are not screwed with. It's the style of play. Basketball, the offense is different. They shoot the ball, they shoot more threes. Baseball, they did their rule changes to allow more home runs and stuff. It's the style of play. Football, they not only have a style of play, but they the sport that keep adding games. They keep adding games.
Hang on, I got to disagree. They've constantly evolved the game. Again, the Mel Blount rule that came out in 1978, meaning
but Mr. Benedict, but that's what I'm saying.
To have more offense.
That's what I'm saying, though. In the other leagues, it's generally the style of play that have modified in these generations of players that allow in basketball. They shoot more. There's more offensive focal point now. Like they more threes. So records are more tend to be broken in today's era of basketball. Same thing can be said about baseball. Generally, the rules and the style of play is what made like today's era, and both of those two sports threaten those records. And football, not only is the style of play like in the past, it used to be run heavy, but now it's pass heavy, and then the style with the defense and the stuff. But not only do they have to deal with the records, have to deal with the style of play changing, the NFL is the only league for the most part that has consistently been adding more games to their schedule. Now we at 17, we potentially may go to 18. So then this conversation, hell, Myles Garrett may be in Michael Strahan's shoes when they go to 18 games when somebody beat his record because they stretch out. So the NFL not only has changes with their style of play and the rules, they're the league that's consistently over the recent years keep adding games to their schedule to make it ultimately easier to beat these records. So yeah, the past players are going to have something to say. Oh, we did this in 14 games, or we did this in 16 games. Well, Myles Garrett, we might enjoy the record while you have it now, because ultimately when they go to 18 games, that's going to give another player one more game to beat your record. Mm-hmm. So it's just the other leagues, they don't really deal with that. They don't add games as much as the NFL do. They just change
baseball
the rules.
Added 7 games, 154 to 161.
Yeah, but that was like that years. The NFL keeps doing this. They add they just keep adding. Like I said, they're going to add one more, we believe, very soon. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these records, you be like, well, okay, yeah, O.J. Simpson's record was still amazing extent. The only record I say in the NFL that amazes me to this day is Jerry Rice's. This dude did numbers
I
in a
played for
running
20
era.
years. I mean,
Exactly, in a running era.
He put up most of his numbers.
I hear you. Dante, what are your thoughts on this, man?
I don't think it's that much of a big deal. Like as far as the records, I mean, records are going to change. The NFL is going to go to 18 games, so people are going to say, "Oh, well, it's this record and that record." But I'm just more so focused on, hey, you get the record, I'll recognize you break it. You know, baseball, like I do. I saw the comment in there about Roger Maris and the home run king. I remember seeing, I think it was like a movie or a movie I saw on that. So like it was a big deal. But it's just like, hey, I understand it. You get your designation of winning and or any record or achievement, so you want to be recognized and honored. So I understand it.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I mean, if you want to talk about best runners of all time, I mean, you talk about Barry Sanders, you talk about Walter Payton, you talk about OJ. I mean, even Eric Dickerson. It's just like all you see the highlights. These guys are just taking off. Or doing some crazy moves and taking off. Like, honestly, again, don't hate. Please, I mean, no disrespect for Cowboys fans. I've seen a lot of Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith never like dazzled me. Like, wow, I can't believe that. So he's a tough guy. Played with a broken shoulder. Again, a compiler. Had one of the best offensive lines ever, and compiled a lot of yards. But in my view, I wouldn't even call Emmitt Smith in the top 10. Of running backs, even though he has the all-time rushing record. But
I had an issue with that as a kid. I had an issue with that. As I've grown and matured, I can fully understand it. My only thing that I've heard this my whole life about this great offensive line, I want to know how many of those people from that offensive line are in the Hall of Fame. And if this offensive line was so great, why aren't they in the Hall of Fame? And how many Pro Bowls did they have before Emmitt Smith showed up? Because I've seen the things when they talk about the Great Wall of Dallas and things like that. That was a hodgepodge mix of guys. Like Nate Newton, shout out to HBCUs, straight out of FAMU. Mark Tuinei, may rest in peace. And the different players on the schedule. One of the Hall of Famers didn't come into like the end in Larry Allen. So it's kind of like that conversation. I hear it, I understand it. He did have great performances. We've got to have a conversation about compiling. Unless we're talking about guys with 10-year careers like an Aaron Donald, I don't think it's right to kind of call people compilers, because by that case, at the end of like a Larry Bird's career, he wasn't the guy he used to be. That could be considered compiling. So that's one, in the off season, I would like to have that combo, but I don't get mad at that one anymore about the saying, hey, Emmitt's not in this place or whatever. I'll see the highlights and I look at it and it's like, hey, I know I'm emotionally attached to it. It's one of my favorite athletes, so I try to stay out of that combo.
Yeah, and again, in some of those lanes he used to run through, I'm like, is he even working hard? Like, I never saw him juke. Like, you saw Barry Sanders just like guys juking guys out of their cleats, or guys just running over. I never saw him run any of that. I'm just saying, pitch to Al to Emmitt. Oh, Emmitt goes in. There he goes. It's like he's got
my whole thing. My whole thing about that, Mr. Bennett, is if you get a chance to play and have them opportunities, you have to capitalize on it.
Oh, 100%.
Because you've seen other running backs had good O lines, but they clearly. And then, but the biggest thing I give Emmitt, because he was so dependable. He was able to play as long as he did.
Very tough. No, I mean,
especially
tough,
you see in the league today. Yeah, they don't play. They don't get as much snaps, but they get hurt more.
No, so I will give Emmitt this. I will give him probably the biggest heart ever. I mean, that game where he had a separated shoulder and still came in there and still dominated the way he did. I mean, he gets kudos from me from that. Because I'm just saying, when you look at these other running backs, I never was impressed with his running style.
I tell you this, when I listen to you, regardless of that, if you to play football, you would have a total different opinion about it. Because you would be like, yeah, he was the man.
But again,
you take the elite, and I can get it. You got those elite, and you like, hey, if you ain't right there.
I'm just saying, he's the all-time rushing leader. But again, go with the names. Who you picking over him? You picking him over Sweetness?
No, definitely Walter Payton.
Hang on, let's have an exercise.
But again, you're talking about Sweetness, though.
Okay, and I just said it.
Sweetness, Dorsett, Barry Sanders.
You talking about those pinnacle running backs like nobody?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Earl Campbell.
Campbell. Earl Campbell, I would put right.
Barry, I'm not gonna lie, I can't hold it anymore. Barry, the only one I put over him. I'm sorry, the other guys we got to stand in line because I remember Barry was going to get the record, but he went ahead and ducked out, retired early because the pitifulness of the line. I love. My thing is, I watched some of those older backs, and they were great. And one of my favorite older backs was Eric Dickerson. That was one of my favorite old school backs where I was just like, man, the way he ran the ball was just amazing. And I respect his sweetness, respect to all, but like, nah, I'll put him over him. I can't really. I put Umeredith status to like the Jim Browns and them of the world, but I would say guys that played in like the modern era, I'll put Barry over.
I put it like this, Dante. That game, Derrick Henry had this past game, and in particular that game he had versus the Packers the week before last. People said like if you want to, because Jim Brown was before our time for the most part. If you want to see and get a glimpse of how Jim Brown was, go back and watch Derrick Henry versus the Packers. And remember, Derrick Henry ran for over 200 yards. That was Jim Brown. So when somebody put it to that, I say, well, if you get, because I can think if you put Derrick Henry back there, I think Derrick Henry would be successful.
Yeah.
But when somebody said that if you want to see how great of a running back Jim Brown was, just go look at how dominant Derrick Henry was in that game versus Green Bay. That can be your image of Jim Brown right there. If you tell me that was how Jim Brown was on a regular basis, because another player I'm thinking who had a short career was Gale Sayers.
Yeah.
And he just had a short career. So there was dudes back then who were dudes. So I can't.
Hang on. Would you guys? All right. What about AP? You taking AP over?
He's one of my favorite running backs. I mean,
he's one of my favorites. But I'm not saying he's
keeping Emmett over AP. Wow.
I would have to because of the longevity of Emmett. AP, because I put Derrick Henry now over AP. Because I think they skill set is about the same. They run stuff about the same. But Henry has had a more longer, he had more longer time of success.
Yeah. But just to show that, again, accomplished and everything, again, Frank Gore is number 3 in the all-time rushing list with 16,000.
Now that's a compiler. That's a compiler because he never was a guy that, hey, when you line, like even at Miami on that stacked roster, you was like, oh, okay, he good, but you felt like Willis McGahee, he was the guy. When he got hurt, Willis was the guy, and then everyone else. Clinton Portis was the guy. Clinton Portis was a dog. I hate he played for the Redskins. Oh my gosh, he was amazing. Yeah. But Frank Gore, like, nah, that was always my one. When people put him up there, it's like, bro, and then like he got the Shaq thing where it's just like he got 1 million jerseys. Bro, you wasn't that special. You had to go to all them teams. Now Shaq, okay, we understand the NBA, you were dominant, you went team to team, but like, nah, bro, didn't nobody just love you like that? Nobody. Like, nah.
He's still obsessed, but Shaq's numbers when especially late in his career, his numbers just fell off. Frank Gore trying to maintain a level of consistency regardless of where he's at.
He's gonna give you 1,100 yards. He's gonna give you 1,100 yards, but he wasn't gonna be as good. He wasn't gonna be like from that group. Somebody's definitively better than him. Edgerrin James. He came out of the gate like we got rid of Marshall Faulk. You came in, I think it was like 1,400 out the gate. It was just like. That's what I'm talking about. Like instant, it was amazing.
Gotcha. Last block of the night, gentlemen. So obviously we haven't had a chance to talk a lot of CFP. Lots of upsets. Again, I had avoided the first week because again with James Madison. Just these other teams that were there. I didn't think they would necessarily do well. But again, shout out to Miami, who has certainly. This is almost sick to me. As much as I hate the Cowboys. I probably hate the Miami Hurricanes even more, but the same player for Michael Irvin. And so clearly He is, taking his belt off and doing all kinds of antics. So again, having to deal with Michael Irvin every week is almost unbearable. But you got the 4 teams. So you got Oregon playing number 1, Indiana, and then you got Ole Miss and Miami. I think this is a good slate of games. It's just interesting. So all the guys left in there are from Saban's coaching tree, which is also interesting. So again, you got the games coming up. So if you guys want to do picks on these games, is Indiana, are they the favorite now, certainly to win it all? Or do you still think there could be some upsets here? They look pretty dominant against Alabama. So
I think Indiana has been looking like the best team, both sides of the ball right now. One thing though, I think is very important. I don't think Ole Miss, besides the players in the locker room, of course, but I really don't believe that they believe that they was going to be able to beat Georgia, even though they played them close the first time they played in the regular season. And I say that because this Lane Kiffin decision, him going to LSU, it really put
it motivated them.
Yeah, but it put them it could have really screwed them over. I say that because they didn't believe that they was going to be this far in the playoffs. Right now, Dante know this probably better than anybody. Right now, we in the middle of the transfer window, portal window. Right now, Kiffin was trying to recruit some of his Ole Miss players because he believed, which I'm pretty sure some of them, they season would have already been over. So hey, come on, y'all go ahead and transfer with me over here at LSU. But because Ole Miss kept winning, now, because Ole Miss was in a situation where they could have lost some of their players who would have hit the transfer portal because they were going over there to LSU. They could have lost their players. You heard all week about what the decision the coaching staff was going to do because they literally trying to split time between LSU and Ole Miss. So that Kiffin, it had some collateral damage with them. And we really didn't know until they finally came out what Ole Miss team would show up versus Miami. Because they could potentially miss some players. The quarterback already came out and said, I'm coming back. He could have potentially been gone. The coaches could have been gone. So I think, and who knows, if they beat Miami, that conversation can get renewed again before the championship game, because they only have so much time to recruit these players. So it's interesting with this Ole Miss thing because I don't think they would look at they're going to win because this whole Lane Kiffin thing, it could potentially screw them over, but they doing it, they winning in spite of. So I'm happy that the players are doing that. Lane Kiffin, you got to sit this out, man. You might have to recruit them next year or something.
Yeah, he's looking bad, and I gotta jump in real quick. I put the kids to bed, but I'll say this: Lane Kiffin looks so dumb right now with them continuing to win, and I know he's rooting against them because it's probably gonna look like Coach Matt Campbell that went from Iowa State to Penn State, where it's like 19 transfers followed him. He was expecting that same thing and think, okay, it's nice, you're gonna beat the little team, but then lose to Georgia and everything was cool. But with that said, I think he's gonna get his wish. I think Miami's gonna win. I think I'm all sold on that formidable front. And the fact is, I'm not sold on Ole Miss. I felt like, hey, they got a little lucky to beat Georgia. I think Georgia was the better team, but I'm certainly think Indiana is the favorite, and I'm going with them to beat Oregon again. And just this transfer report. And then what's really gonna be interesting once it becomes just the final two. The transfer portal, it opens up again for those teams now that their season's over, and it's just going to be a crazy mess. And I'm thinking Indiana versus Miami for the national championship. So that's what I got.
Oh gosh, I can't tolerate Michael Irvin. I can't handle it.
If we win the championship, Michael Irvin will be all in your
preaching.
Yeah, he's out there preaching.
You can jump.
And I forgot. I didn't get my pick. I got the Texas beat the Steelers. I got the defense. I know we talk about the cold weather, but physical defense travels, and I just don't. Especially with Derek Stingley Jr. being able to match up against DK versus Metcalf. Metcalf, his matchups with elite corners sometimes, like a lot of guys, goes a little so-so. Obviously, I know he's got a chip on the shoulder for that suspension, but that's what I got in that one. So, but all right, fellas, I will catch y'all next
Appreciate
week.
you, bro. Appreciate you,
All
and
right, Dante.
we'll definitely see you next week.
Take a night.
But we're gonna wind down the show. First of all, I just want to acknowledge Cali Blue. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for and welcome aboard. We do this every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Here on the channel. And I do want to certainly, I got one more super chat that I must acknowledge. So again, from my guy Anton, who's always talking about we don't talk about hockey in these spaces, but I did have one topic for you though. But again, appreciate it. Not talking about the World Junior Championships, but Team USA has put out their rosters, all right, for the Olympic Games coming up. Now, again, I have no idea who these players are. Again, my hockey is off, but nevertheless, I just want to acknowledge. I wanted to kind of give you something. So you said we didn't go over hockey. I didn't add this during the show. I pre-planned this. I was like, I'm going to show Anton that I'm going to have a hockey segment. So again, but this is actually I will get more into this because the one area where I really get into hockey is the world hockey, the Olympic hockey. Not even the World Championship stuff, but Olympic hockey. Ever since, Coach, you and I remember 1980. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. So I've always been sold on Team USA hockey. Heartbroken a couple Olympics ago when it was Team USA versus Canada for the championship. Actually, it was the women and the men, Team USA and Canada, and they lost it late, both of them. I was shook. From that Olympic game. So hopefully they can, we can do it again, have Team USA and whether it be men or women, hopefully they can, certainly get it together. But again, I got Anton. I certainly wanted to, certainly acknowledge, the hockey that I am listening and I will get better. And again, we're still waiting for you. Let us know when you launch your channel talking about hockey. Because not too many brothers that I know of follow it, and certainly you are very knowledgeable about it on all levels, from amateur all the way up to world and professional. And so, certainly, I want to be able to give you a spot to talk about this, and maybe we can even plan to have a show where if you want to come up and talk about the roster when it comes to this, certainly you're going to be welcome to do so. But we're going to go and into to close out the show. Final thoughts. Sean, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. So if you have final thoughts, and as we land this plane.
My final thoughts would be over college football. I like the fact that she's supposed to be in bed right now. I like the current 12 teams we in. I don't want them to grow to no 14.
I agree.
I only think 14. I think they're saying 16 because it's going to be what people was talking about the first round with like the Tulanes and the James Madison. This is only going to get worse if you're going to add 16 teams. Even though I do like the fact that those respective schools get to enjoy or experience college football because it brings them money and whatnot, that I do like. But as far as the fact that everybody complains about the level of competition and them first games, it's going to get worse. So we already know that, and if the NCAA decides to go to 16 team playoff, then you already know it's just all about money, which I'm not surprised because I put the way the NCAA is ran, they almost no different than the IOC than me right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Coach, final thoughts on your end?
I mean, I would be interesting to me if they would add another team or two, but I think NIL is going to continue to have a roller coaster effect on the college game anyway. So it'll be interesting over the next couple of years. But as far as the NFL is concerned, man, listen, man, this is a great time for football, man. This is what y'all football fans like. So just sit back. If your team ain't in it, just be a neutral fan, man, and just watch a good game. I don't care if it's 3-0. That means both teams fought hard, man, And if your team lose, don't be going around waving your father coach banner. They made it to the playoffs. But no, man, salute to everybody, man. Great show, man. So let's get ready for tomorrow night, man. It's gonna be a great game tomorrow, and hopefully you don't lose all your money betting on the game.
I put like this, Mr. Bennett, before you give yours. Coach has brought up a point, and I think it'll be good after the championship game in college football. By the end, the NFL playoffs will be going, but we probably only have 2 teams or what?
Yeah.
Super Bowl time. We need to, now that we had a couple of seasons of this, I don't know if it's 2 or 3 seasons, we need to have a show discussing about the pros and cons of NIL.
Okay.
Because what I'm looking right now,
it's a mess.
It is. It's a mess. And I want players to get paid for their image, but I don't think we was expecting this.
Right.
Like this is
I think what we're
Pandora's
saying
box.
now, my question is the college football playoff, regardless of how many teams that you put in it, is it going to be like the NCAA tournament for basketball? Which, again, we've seen the decline in ratings. And let's face it, Indiana is a great story. Is them and Ole Miss in the championship? Is that going to draw any ratings?
Yes.
And again, it's all about the ratings. I don't know. Like I said, obviously we're going to have to see how this plays out. But if you're going to have these teams getting into the dance that no one really cares about, the big teams, again, Notre Dame, a lot of people felt got snubbed this year. So as long as that's going to be going on, I don't know if they're going to go the path of where college basketball is at, which I have no interest in.
One comment. He's saying no college. Yeah, we definitely got to discuss that because.
Yeah, that's my only concern with that. But yeah, we could definitely have a show talking about that, and so definitely looking forward to that. But I don't really have a closing thought. I think certainly a lot's been said tonight. But again, I would say certainly wild card weekend is my favorite time of the year in the NFL, hands down. That's where you go. You get coach. You get the 6-foot sub. You get some guys over, and you guys just spend all day just watching the games and whatnot. So again, this is what I truly enjoy, and so definitely looking forward to that. Shout out to my Steelers on Monday night. Hopefully they can pull it out. But again, that defense of Texas is going to be formidable. We'll see if old man Rodgers can pull out another one. But again, we appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you for the new subscriber to the channel. Thank you to Anton, as always, for the super chats. Always been a blessing to the channels. And again, it's always a privilege to share the floor with you guys, certainly every week. Really appreciate you guys, and just praying for your families, and so everything goes well with you guys. So for myself, for our guy Dante had to drop off, for Shawnee, and for the coach, this is the One-on-One Sports Show here on the Black Men Unfiltered Network. For everyone else, and I don't think I have an actual video. I think BMU got rid of it. So I'm just going to do a hard in on the screen. No, I'm just saying it's not here. I'm looking for. I don't know where the outro is. It's not there, and I'm going through trying to end the show. So I'm just going to do a hard end to the show. So take care. God bless. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Hey, peace.